Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Sparkle, sparkle,
Sparkle.
sparkle.
Who dat?
Sparkle. Let you start us off, Therese.
Oh, hi guys, welcome to Knit Night. My name is Therese, and I am here with the lovely Liz Clothier. And we also
Indeed.
have Amy, Pro Life Knitter, and from Two Sisters and Some Yarn. And we have the wonderful Caro Brown of All the Good Things. I'm from everywhere. I'm the sparkle.
Welcome Monday. Everybody have a decent weekend?
And Joe, yes, I did.
I did too.
I know you did. You got a new router that made your weekend worthwhile.
I got a new router that I made a special password for my husband. So if anybody
That's so sweet of you.
If anybody ever comes to my house and needs the internet, the password is Cowgirls Stink Forever. And then we spanked their little cowgirl butts, and it was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Has he had to actually type that in yet?
Yeah, he had to type it in Saturday night.
I'm guessing he wasn't thrilled.
Nope.
Oh well.
Oh well.
Them's that set up the router gets to pick the password.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And it's not my fault. You're a Cowgirls fan, so.
Right? What's that about?
That is true. I didn't watch any football, though I did hear about Butker good kick, his 51-yard field goal, which was kind of cool.
That's honestly, Cowboys were kicking those left and right.
I know.
Boswell does that in his sleep.
Yeah, I think Cowboys have kicked like 71 before or something like that. It's the only good thing I can say about them. But their kicker spent a lot of time on the field. That's about it. Their highest paid quarterback did not.
Well, you know how that is. Them to get the most money.
Therese?
What?
Is he the highest paid quarterback right now?
Oh, yes, I believe he is. He just sign like.
Yeah, he just signed like a lot of money.
Yeah, I believe he is. So, way to go, Jerry.
Getting that money's worth, Jerry Jones.
Hey, got to do what you got to do, I guess.
Well, he better start.
Hope he doesn't get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Hope he doesn't get hurt.
Yeah.
That's what tends to happen.
Mm-hmm. So. TJ Watt was fabulous as usual.
I did not get to see it, but I saw the score.
I did see highlights from the basketball.
Touchdowns. So we're improving. At least there was a touchdown. We're improving.
It's not 4, but hey.
Not 6. 6.
Well, really what the thing that you have to bet on isn't the games. It's which player from which team is going to get arrested.
Yeah.
We'll start betting on the referees, the over-under on how many flags they throw.
I know, right?
Hello, chat. Welcome, welcome.
Welcome to football night.
Sorry for our football talk.
Sorry.
Contrary to what the media tells you, girls watch football.
And Tomsky's not even here.
I watch multiple games at a time. Yeah.
I missed the football this weekend. My son was over and we were doing stuff, but I did watch some of the WNBA, the Caitlin Clark, which she's a good player.
Mm-hmm.
And didn't watch a ton of sports because my son was bemoaning his wife.
I just watched the Saints game. That's it.
He was bemoaning his ex getting a new boyfriend. Turns out the girlfriend thing he thought it was wrong. So, yeah.
Well, she can be somebody else's headache.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him her new guy is her age, not 6 years older. So at that age, it's a huge difference.
Yeah.
So.
For sure.
So yeah. So he just had a job interview with the government.
Cool.
State government. So that was good. And yeah. not much going on. Hey, Cabot Cove Knits, we miss you.
Oh.
Tap taps.
Hope things settle down in your house today. You need a breather.
I'm almost to season 2 of Murder, She Wrote. I think I am anyway. I don't know how many episodes there are, but I'm on like 10 or 11 or something like that. They had a New Orleans one. That one was funny.
Yeah, the New Orleans one's
Because they were
good.
like, we're going to be on the 11 o'clock news. Like, we don't have the 11 o'clock news. We have 10 o'clock news. And there was like one scene, and I'm like, there are no hills like that in New Orleans. I don't know where
Yeah,
you are.
we know you can't come on today. You've got kids and stuff, so we just hope everybody's okay. And, so.
And we're practicing for our showdown.
Yeah, we are. Amy's way ahead of me. But I got this lovely giant ball of Karen anniversary cake, which is
And I've got that
1,000
coming
grams.
too.
And even
That's
comes
like
with
the
a
biggest
handle.
ball of twine in Minnesota.
So I won't have to weave in any ends. So that's good.
You should weigh it, see how much that whole thing weighs.
100 grams, it's 35 ounces.
35 ounces?
I think.
Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's insane.
Wait, it's more than 100 grams, huh?
It's 1,000 grams.
I was going to say 1,000 grams. Socks are...
It's 1,000 grams, so it's 35 ounces.
Right.
So,
Which is...
yeah, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, Anne says it's amazing. It is kind of amazing. And that way I don't have to weave in any ends.
Yeah, true.
And I think, Anne, you said that you did your blanket in like 5 or 6 skeins. Is that true or not? I can't remember. Was that the whole blanket or half the blanket? Because if it's half the blanket, then I might be able to get 2 out of this. Or at least 1.5.
Did she hold something double or?
No, she was using super bulky.
Oh. Hers was pretty with stripes. That was cool.
It was, but I'm not going to worry about stripes for this challenge.
So.
Yeah.
I'm curious how far I get with the balls.
Yeah.
With the balls. Let's see this.
So yeah, what's everybody else working on, or have they worked on this week?
6. I finished the obnoxious Taylor Swift dress, but it's currently drying in my front room. So.
Oh.
7
the
minutes.
one that you're kindly doing for a friend.
Yes.
Got 7 minutes.
That was the whole blanket, but I found out that the skeins were not the same size. That dang shrinkflation.
Oh.
Oh, well, that sucks. Okay, so I should be able to get 1.5, maybe 1.25 blankets out of this. So then if I can get 1.25, then I can get another color and stripe it.
Out of that anniversary, you should get like 2 or 3 blankets out of that.
Well, no, because it's 1,061 yards, and if she got 5 skeins of like 100 yards, that's 500 yards.
I mean, I'm just saying, I'm already like 28 stitches, and I'm still only on my first 2 balls. So
You're way ahead of me.
Thanks.
Oh, Cheryl, same. So
What?
same. She's suffering from castonitis.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think I got the yarn to do Anne's cowl that I'm supposed to test. I did get that out. I sorted through a bag. I sorted through stash. A finished project. And gave the neighbor girl some little teeny tiny blankets I had made that like experiments, and they were too small for baby blankets, so I said, here you go, here's some doll blankets.
Aw. I have 2 finished objects. I have the blanket that I was working on last week. I finished.
Oh yeah.
So
for
the babies, and I put a little ruffly edge on it because I don't like the edge on the corner to corner all the time. So
yeah,
I covered it up. And then I finished my James N. Watts rib lace raglan.
Yay.
So that's done. It came out okay. I made the long sleeve version, and I did not make the cropped version because no.
We're adults.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We
And
are
then
on
I
the
cast
read
on-
your full shirt age.
Yeah. And then I cast on another sweater, but I am not far enough on to show yet. So yeah, that's about it. So what are you working on, Kara? Which shawl?
I like that question a lot. Thank you. I'm working
Because I said
on,
which-
yeah, because of which shawl, because that's all I do. So this is like a purple to gray shawl that I'm making. So it's 3 rows of granny stitch followed by 2 rows of double and then back to granny.
Ooh, pretty.
I'm really proud that I knew how to say that.
Is this
Very.
a pattern or is it something you're just doing?
I don't know. I started it and I was like, this looks pretty, and I think I've just stuck with it. So I don't really think it's my pattern because I'm not like creative like that. Oh, you know what it was? I looked at somebody's picture of a shawl and I was kind of like dissecting what it looked like, and then that's what happened.
Okay. I like it.
What you been working on, Therese?
I did some of my blanket, so instead of 20 games behind, I'm only 10 games behind.
There you go.
I've been picking Calvin's hair off my other sweater. And hang on.
Horseman is kicking butt.
I don't know if I
Boyfriend.
don't know if I
That's
showed
my
this last time.
favorite book.
Finished the sock. And then I started another one. Hang on, I got
What sock? Did you finish the sock that had that really pretty matching? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really pretty.
this one.
Oh yeah, that was pretty. I still can't find my Ohio sock.
I hang on, I got 3 stitches. And I know I said I was going to switch to different yarn because this is that, the opal or the regia. I lied. So I cast on another. I was too lazy to wind yarn. Okay, that's just the
I
truth.
hear you.
So I started another sock. This is
Well, that's
this
cute.
is what's it called? Sockies. And
Excuse me.
yarn's weird because this is how it comes in the ball.
Yeah. Boy, it doesn't look like it's striped like
Striped.
that. Yeah.
It's striped.
It didn't look like it would stripe quite like that.
No, I thought it would be more variegated, but
Yeah.
whatever.
Sure.
Okay.
And then the toe is some random Barocco alpaca.
All right. So these needles will be okay, and I'll be much faster once I take the kinks out of the cable. But I'm not going to do any more because I don't want to pull out from this big giant skein and then have it all pulled out when we have our marathon. That won't be good. So.
Yes, Caro, are you preparing things to torture us with?
Yeah. I ran a couple ideas by Mike, but we haven't made a super concrete plan because he's been busy being, a responsible father to his children. So,
He's busy being epic.
He's being
yes. Yeah, we call him. I call him Magic Meek because, like, in his streams, he's always going meek, right? No, we're gonna figure that out. But the goal is basically to distract you, however we come across. So we'll figure it out. It'll be good. Even if you aren't participating, we'll make it entertaining. So
As long as we have potty breaks.
yes,
Yeah.
I will have a timer set up. Be like, okay, it's 25 minutes. You have 5 minutes to go do your business and come back. Hurry up. Countdown starts now.
I'm going
Nice.
back to this baby
What are you going
blanket
back to? Ooh.
with the mandala because I have a bunch of those that was supposed to be a blanket for somebody, but that person is no longer in my life. So they won't be getting a blanket. So I'll use it to make baby blankets.
Hey, the babies, thank you.
I hope the babies will like them.
And the mummies, thank you.
Well, to help the anything to help the moms, because I know what it's like to be a mom, and I had help, so
Yep.
all the mamas need help for sure. Mute your microphones.
Me? No.
I don't know. Ann just said teacher voice.
No, teacher voice. Like, okay, everybody mute your microphones. Go to the bathroom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Yes, please do.
All right, class.
Sure. Okay.
It's just funny because when I was a teacher, I never had teacher voice. It'd be like, sit down. I didn't tell you to get up.
I believe that.
There was one kid, he's like, I don't feel good. I was like, are you barfing? No. Are you bleeding? No. It's like, sit down.
That was always my father-in-law to the grandkids. Are you bleeding? No. Then why are you crying? Walk it off.
Bleeding,
And
barfing,
my one niece,
broken, or burning. That was.
And the only reason I was like that was because my kids were definitely on the delinquent side of things. So it was like they were always just trying to get out of class to go make trouble somewhere else. So I was like, nope.
that was
One of my sweet boys, like one time, like he was low on the functioning, like I've never met somebody that embodied a Labrador quite like this kid did, right? Like he was the walking Labrador. I absolutely adored him. But the problem is, much like sometimes with other dogs, if you let them go outside, they just kind of wander and don't come back, right?
Yeah.
And so at one point he was like, I have to go to the bathroom. And I didn't know he was a wanderer at the time because they told me he would be low maintenance. So I trusted that person foolishly. And so then I get a call from a teacher on the other side of campus being like, I found your student. And I was like, why is he over there? And I had to go and grab him and bring him back. And he was very sweet. And he was like, I got lost. And it was true. He definitely got lost.
when my son was in middle school. When he was in 8th grade, he was an office aide in his free period. And first week of school, he got 4 times in one day with the same child. He was asked, could you walk this child to his class because he had gotten lost at 4 different times during the day. And it got to the point where he said, like, by the 3rd time, he was just like, kid, really, you really need to learn where you're going because I can't be here for you every day. Like, and, find out another kid who's going to the same place you are and go with them.
Follow that kid.
Mm-hmm.
But it was funny because he's like, the office lady, she's like, can you take this kid to his class again? And he's like, yeah, can we get him a compass? So he knows where he's going. And their school was round because it was built in the 60s. So it was one of the ones with the bomb shelter and everything in it because, nuclear war and all that.
Right.
So there's no windows. There were no windows in the school and it was circular. So, yeah, it was easy to get lost.
We don't have those here.
They're replacing them here. Every year they're redoing a bunch of schools. That one's on the list, I think, next year. But it's like a big round school and then a bunch of the trailers attached because
the portables. Yeah,
the portables. Yeah.
But we don't have underground, so we were just
there's
under the desk. It'll be okay.
Yeah. Originally, it had a pool, but then the pool was covered up, and then it was just built as one of those bomb shelter type places. Because I guess what we were taught in school was just go sit underneath your desk. Mm-hmm. They thought the next generation might want to actually be treated, protected a little more than that. But
see, that's what's wrong. We coddled them. They should have sat under their desks just like we did.
That was like the answer to anything. If this happens, if you get an earthquake, go sit underneath your desk.
Yeah.
If there's a tornado, go sit underneath your desk.
They put us in the hall for the tornadoes, I guess, because there was no windows. So we all had to line up and sit at your back against the cinder block and put your hand over your head. And you sat there and waited until the tornado was over. The threat was over.
We didn't get many tornadoes.
No, we didn't get a lot. But we still have.
It wasn't really a threat, but we actually had windows you could open, which was nice. We weren't supposed to open them, but you could.
I was in a basement with black mold.
Nice.
Gross.
And every time I kept trying to tell them that there was black mold, it's like, well, we sprayed. And I was like, look, I'm not like an expert on shit, but I didn't have a wheeze before I took this position, and now I do. My doctor's concerned. I have an inhaler now.
Yeah, couple of the elementary schools from when I was in New Jersey had to be closed to have the asbestos removed, which was a joy. You know, they really thought ahead about the kids. Like when they would spray for DDT,
Yeah.
against the gypsy moths, they would have us come in school 2 hours late, right? So you go to the bus stop 2 hours later than you normally would to go to school, and that's when the plane would fly over and spray.
We had trucks go down our road spraying on both sides of the.
We
had that too, but you know,
they're not
the whole
delay anymore. But we have mosquito. Somebody I saw on Instagram, they posted, and they were like, "What is this?" And I was like, "Oh, y'all don't have that? Like that's normal here. We have a whole program, mosquito abatement program. So they fly and spray, and then they drive down the streets and spray. So you hear the truck coming, everybody's like, "Get inside!"
Yeah, we had the gypsy moths.
Gypsy moths.
Infestation, and yeah, that was be like, oh no, you're gonna go into school late, and they're gonna spray before school starts. It'll be all good. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I've been on my front yard many a times when the truck ran by. So like, whoops, so well. It's not like an ice cream truck and it plays a song. You just have to like hear the blower.
I was watching one of the police cam videos yesterday, and these 15-year-old kids had been drunk in a Walgreens, and they were beating up the employees, and then they left, and the cops tracked them down and they pulled into this gas station, and they got most of them out of the car, but 2 of them stayed in the car, and one of them tried to leave and ended up driving the car up into the building. And when they pulled her out, she kept yelling she couldn't breathe because she had eczema. And the cop said, "You have eczema?" She goes, "Yeah, on my right side." He's like, "Oh, okay." Like, I never heard that one before. And then later on, I guess she realized she should have said asthma and had a fake asthma attack, but it was such a bad fake asthma attack. It was just like, really. She'd stuck with the eczema. I'm like, eczema? Really? Okay. Never heard that one before. And the cop's like, she's like, "I can't breathe." He's like, "You're screaming. You're breathing."
Oh, man.
It's like the only one in any danger is me of losing my hearing from you screaming. And then she ended up beating her head inside the police car and had to go to the hospital for stitches because, you know.
Stupid.
Like, yeah, 15.
Wow.
Assault and battery, DUI,
Man,
resisting arrest.
Teenagers, you get drunk in a field and die like we did. I mean, what's wrong with y'all? Like,
I don't know.
why are we in Walgreens? Like,
Yeah.
I think they stopped to use the bathroom.
you did
And
that
then-
field.
Yeah. Joe Bob's in the chat.
Joe Bob.
Why is Joe Bob in the chat and not,
And
on the screen?
show.
She's probably at work. That's why.
Aw.
Truckies drive weekly throughout the Army base spraying chemicals into the air to combat malaria. Maybe I've swallowed a shit ton of ivermectin. Could be Joe.
Could be, Joe Bob. That's probably what's wrong. We miss you.
We miss you very much. So,
Miss my Joe Bob Chronicles. So when the men come home and it's time for dinner, I will jet because then the game will be shortly thereafter. So Who guys playing
understandable.
tonight, Therese? Is it the Bears and?
It's the Eagles and the Falcons.
Oh yeah, I gotta watch that game.
I did watch part of the game this weekend, either this weekend or last weekend. I can't remember, but I was not impressed with Mr. Brady's
Ugh. He does
announcing.
not have the voice for radio.
No, he was terrible.
He was bad.
He was bad.
Like,
Go buy a pickleball team like Drew did and give it up.
Yeah.
well, he owns half
Not
of
good with
the
the commentary either. So
Las Vegas Aces, the women's basketball team.
right.
And he's buying into the Raiders. I said,
Right.
see, that's just a plot. So he's going to be part owner, and suddenly they're really going to need a quarterback, and they're going to be able to pull him in, from retirement, because he'll be at the game and he'll just suit
People
up
were
and
saying like, because of Tua's all of his concussions in Miami, I was like, oh, don't you dare to pull Tom Brady out of retirement and put him in the arcade. No more Tom Brady.
I hope not.
Oh gosh.
So
right.
the Raiders
My men
could
are
use
home.
better quarterback though.
My men are home, so sorry it was a short visit, but
All right.
Well, thanks for coming. And if you're busy, you still have half a month to knit things for the baby and
yes.
send them to Amy. Check out Pro Life Knitter on Instagram with all the details, and you can enter it into the Politically Incorrect Knitters.
And keep buying stick stoppers because we have donated almost $900 since I started.
Like these.
Yep.
Wow. I bought some the other day.
I know.
Right after
They're
Therese did. So.
They're on the way.
Yay.
Yay.
All right. I might be back. We'll see.
Okay.
For the babies.
For the babies.
Thanks, Amy.
Bye.
Bye. So, and if anyone wants to play along at home on the half blanket handicap, please do. It sounds like a few people are going to join in from home, which should be very interesting. They'll probably knit faster than we will because they won't be as distracted.
Mm-hmm. If Caro does her job.
Though, Therese, if we ever do something like that, we're doing crochet. Okay. Because
For
that's
sure.
easier.
With bulky? Oh, hell yeah.
Exactly. Be done with that in a couple hours.
Mm-hmm.
That would be nice. So any new knitting stuff going on, or crocheting stuff going on, or patterns, or?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think
Yarn sales?
I'm so out of touch with that. I just know what you guys tell me.
I did get Chicken Lady's newsletter, and the 30th of September is the last free shipping day of the year.
Oh.
So
Okay.
if you're going to get Chicken Lady yarn, September 30th is the last free shipping. So, and she has her new bird colorway and some other colors out too. Some Gilmore Girls colors are coming out.
Oh, hell yeah.
So, and
I need to finish my project so I can order more of her yarn.
Good idea.
I say that knowing that I ordered more yarn last week.
what we do.
I feel like we're kind of a bad influence on Caro.
Yeah, I feel like I was helping. I was helping, you know.
Oh, DW Fiberfest is this weekend, and Lefty Crochets may watch and make a blanket to donate to her local pregnancy resource center. That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I have not seen that. Laura Nielkin doing a mystery cow that is octopus themed, starts October 1st, called Cowtopus. I don't know. Shoot.
I'm trying to think if there's anything going on in the
There it goes.
the yarn world.
Trying to think. It's like, I guess the mystery, the Stephen West Mao starts October 1st, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing it, but I think Shauna Stitches is doing it.
What is that thing?
It's a 4-week, basically it's a mystery knit along where you pick your colors, and then each week you get emailed a clue, and there's a video, and you knit along, but you don't know what it's going to look like till the end.
Oh.
Yeah, it's as scary as it sounds.
It is.
I learned something every week with you guys.
Well, I like shawlography. The nip slip shawl, as Tabitha calls it, but I didn't like the one after that, Twist and Turn, so I never finished it.
No, I didn't.
And then I didn't finish the shawl that Pinwheels Are Evil shawl, because I got mad about that whole situation, so I didn't bother to finish it.
Right.
Because I wasn't enjoying it anymore at that point.
No, it took all the, and I didn't even do it, but because I'm done with mystery. Especially
Yeah, I think I'm done with it
people
too.
who kind of get out there with some of their, no more.
Yeah.
I'll decide.
Well, this one I did get the pattern because it's only 2 colors.
Yeah.
So I figured it might be a pattern that you can
Mm-hmm.
do without being too crazy. And plus, as Yo-Yo has done a couple times, when you knit them in just one solid color, it
Mhm.
totally changes how they look.
Oh yeah.
With all this, especially if it's really textured or detailed.
Mm-hmm.
So I bought the pattern, but I'm not going to even bother to pay attention until I want to do it.
Right.
But to me, the best part about it are the video tutorials he does every week. Because he teaches you all the techniques.
Mm-hmm.
And his attitude of, don't worry about it if you don't have the right amount of stitches. Just add some or take some away. It's all good. It doesn't have to be perfect. Throw a little mohair in. Except I would not use mohair. I would use alpaca. But so yeah. That's about all the excitement I know. I haven't really been paying attention to what patterns have been coming out.
Mm-mm.
There's some Halloween stuff coming out, I know, but I don't really. Telly Bean Nets has a new Halloween cowl. She's the one who does the sock arm sweater.
Which is still on the list.
I know. Morgan needs to get with it.
Yes, she does.
Since that was her thing.
I know.
So yeah. Did you guys watch DK and Ann? Their podcast about the debate.
No, I didn't. What did I miss?
I think I did.
Oh, they went over the debate and just all the craziness surrounding the debate. And now, there's another assassination attempt. So,
Oh, we love it. As in, we don't.
And evidently the guy, his stuff had been there for 12 hours. So he knew in advance that
how
he was
did
going to
he
go
know?
golfing.
Right.
That's the question everybody wants to know because it wasn't announced anywhere.
You'll never find out, so don't worry about it.
Probably not.
I liked how one nominee is dodging bullets and the other one's dodging interviews.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Did you see that Walls was talking about her the other day? And I guess he meant to say that she was a young protester, but he said she was a prostituter. It's like, well, it came from his mouth,
Freudian.
Pretty much. They keep calling him America's dad, and I'm sorry, he gives me the creep.
He's like
creepy.
The guy that ran with Hillary. That's who he reminds me of.
Yes. Kaine.
Yes.
Tim Kaine.
Yeah.
Creepy vibe.
Yeah.
He's like the creepy guy that goes to the kids' sporting events that doesn't have a kid there.
Yeah. That's who he reminds me of. They keep picking these weirdos.
Who volunteers all the time. Yeah. But, yeah. So.
And his wife. Oh, Lord.
Oh, yeah, she's a piece of work. That one. It's like they can't pick anybody normal. Though I think a lot of Democrats want her to lose and expect her to lose. Like, I'm sure Gavin Newsom wants her to lose because then it opens the door for him next time. But even Hillary's former campaign people are calling out ABC. And you know it's bad then.
One of my friends told me that NPR was an unbiased news reporting group, and I was like sitting here like summer child.
That's
No, and
it's like saying Vermont is a bastion of conservatism, you know.
yeah, no, NPR hasn't been neutral, God, since before I was born.
Yeah, they're
Even when we were kids, NPR wasn't neutral.
it wasn't as blatant as it is now, but
No, now it's just obvious.
it's
But
always been.
I did see where the debate moderator admitted that they intentionally plan to only fact check Trump and not Kamala. But you know, that's all good. You know, her sorority sister. And the head of the company who introduced her to her husband. But you know, they're not partial or anything.
I'm over it.
I'm
over
trying
it.
to get in there. I'm like,
Just done. I
just
don't.
wish the election was done. But if I hear one more person praising Biden is going down in history, I'm gonna throw up.
He'll go down in history, all right.
No, someone compared him to George Washington not running for another term for president. I'm like, no.
Oh, because he was cooed out.
Washington wasn't. He was tired of it.
No, I'm talking about Biden.
I know.
He was ousted.
I know. I know. What's Dr. Jill to do? She can't fly around on, you know,
On the beach.
government planes anymore and get, you know, the taxpayers to pay for her wardrobe and everything else. But hey, at least if nothing else comes from this election, no more people will get bitten by Biden's dogs. And I'm not blaming the dogs. The dogs shouldn't be put in that situation. But there have been 33 incidents at least where people have been bitten by those dogs. Several of them have had to be hospitalized.
Think with all the money he's got, he could hire a dog trainer.
He could hire that Caesar guy, for crying out loud.
Yeah, I'm sure Caesar would leave his dog resort to come and tell the president how to walk his dog.
Yeah. I don't think they care enough about the dog to bother, though.
Yeah. No.
Sadly. I mean, I've been watching Monster Quest the last few nights because there are new episodes. And all these Bigfoot hunters, you know, they see these footprints and they're like, oh, it must be Bigfoot. I'm like, can you imagine if some people were out in the wilderness somewhere and they see these big giant footprints and they assume it's Bigfoot and they get all excited when in reality it's somebody like Shaq who was there on vacation and was just walking around barefoot with his big size 17 feet.
It's Shaq.
And so people get all excited because they think there's Bigfoot here and really it's not.
It's Shaq.
Like this one thing I watched, they were like, this group of females were going to go hunt for him because they figured he'd be more inclined to come to females because we have higher pitched voices. Like, okay. And they were going to sing Christmas carols and lullabies because that would attract him. I'm like, I don't really think that's that scientific, but okay.
This is where we need natural selection to kick in.
And none of them were actual biologists. Like they were amateur researchers. One was an archaeologist, one was like some other kind of scientist, but none of them were actual like zoologists or biologists or anybody who had any experience with wildlife. You know.
So here's my thing about Bigfoot. They actually found the cooler with the costume in it, right? And they reported it and they showed it, and then everybody was like, no, see, Bigfoot's still real. And I was like, we literally have evidence that it was somebody in a costume walking around. And like, no, you're just trying to tell us that, you know, he's not real. We believe that Bigfoot is real. It's like, okay, cool.
So it's basically like us in the government every day.
Yeah.
You didn't see that.
Nothing to see here. Move along. These are not the droids you're looking for. But
Yeah, people always want to believe what they want to believe, and it's like I think the nice thing that came out from the whole Bigfoot sprint, I guess we'll call it that, is all of like the urban fantasy that centers around Bigfoot. Like those stories are absolutely amazing. Like Jim Butcher wrote this a really amazing short story trilogy about Bigfoot and his kid. It was really good.
The thing about Bigfoot, though, is the sightings are all from all around the world. It's not just in North America. So each area's got their own version.
Right. In Canada, they have the Sam Squanch.
Yeah.
Oh, you know.
In Louisiana, they got the Rougarou. And
I don't know if it's. I'm watching Trailer Park Boys.
But we don't have the Wendigo. We should have the Wendigo. If we're going to believe in crazy, scary ass shit, where's the Wendigo?
Okay. When I was growing up, it was the Jersey Devil living in the Pine Barrens.
We need the Wendigo.
Oh, we had Chessie, the monster in the Chesapeake Bay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's one in Lake Champlain, too.
Mm-hmm.
And
Champ.
Yeah, I watched a show on him, too. But I find it interesting just to see, like, if I had known you could be a cryptozoologist and, you know, just go out and just declare things about unknown species, that would have been the job I would have gone for if I'd known that was a thing as a kid, because they go out and they, you know, all these crazy species, they go out to prove if they're real or not. Like, who's paying the money for all these expeditions for these people to go out?
No, I think they're still looking for Man Bear Pig, aren't they?
Yeah, and Mothman.
Mothman looks at you, screams, and runs away.
Hey, that's become a cottage industry in West Virginia. That little town has made a fortune off of Mothman. It's like Area 51 out here. There's like a whole town around it for the aliens. So how is Horseman doing?
It's doing great. My boyfriend is well received by the fandom, and I think our numbers are going to keep going up for a little bit, but that's fine. And I actually got to see the shirts in the warehouse today. They look fantastic, and I tried to make out with some of them, but Brandon took them away and told me to go to my office, so I went in there and sulked and answered emails and stuff.
They don't want you to have any fun, huh?
No. Somebody, because Eric streamed today, somebody said they were going to send me a cardboard cutout of the Horseman, and I honestly told them, if you do that, I'm going to walk around the office everywhere with that thing. So we'll see if they do it.
Then it's a challenge.
I'll do it. I really do like. I know, like it's obviously it's a mature theme comic where, you know, parents need to read it and decide if they want their kids to be exposed to that kind of stuff. But those kind of characters for me, like, really do it because, you know, it's just somebody who's kind of fed up with like how things are, and they're like, you know, I'm just gonna go fix it myself. And I'm like, yeah, I'm all about that mentality. Let's go.
Yeah. I've always been a Punisher fan.
Yeah.
He was always been one of my favorites because he just dealt with things.
Mm-hmm. And it's so, and I think what I really like about it, and I mentioned it last week, but I'll say it again, is that, you know, when Chuck and Joe, so Chuck the writer, Joe the artist, when they used to work for the, you know, the big industry heads, and they would do stuff, they would always get their stuff sent back to them. They're like, you need to tone it down or like ease up on it or whatever, right? And so when they sent in all the initial stuff, they're like, okay, so what do you want us to tone down? And we're like, actually, we want more. Like, in this scene right here, like, how close can we get to like where this bullet's going to go? And, you know, Joe was like, all the way. And it was like, okay, let's do it. Right. So it was, I really kind of liked it from where I was in the process, which was like this, like, you know, kind of like lurker, you know, from around the corner. Right. Because it was like the moment like Joe and Chuck realized that nobody was going to tell them no, that they went freaking crazy with this stuff. And they had such a good time making it. And they were all like gleeful, like kids in like the candy shop being like, oh, we can put this in there. We can do that. You want Nazis? Let's do Nazis. So.
Yeah. When creatives get the opportunity to just be creative, there's so much more joy involved and they do a better job.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Like, I've worked with a lot of artists, and when they get to do what they want, as opposed to doing commission work, they're way happier.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause,
There's a guy that I work with on some of my projects that I do on the side that's not related to work. And I went to him last week and I was like, hey, do you have an opening to like make like an alien race with me? And he was like, well, what are you thinking about? So I sent him the write-up of what I wanted to make. And he was like, we're going to do it on Monday. And I was like, fuck yeah.
you know, like a man.
Like a man.
Well,
Yeah.
you know, and alpha men, showing alpha men being alpha men is important right now in our culture.
Yeah, and
You know?
that like toxic masculinity argument's gonna come back and like, ladies, like leave it alone. Like just stop. Go back to your sparkle life with me. Okay. Like look, I'm living my best sparkle over here. Come join me and let the men go do their drizzle. Okay. That's what we need to do.
Yeah. That's one of the things that I've discovered watching a lot of the court cams and the police cams is there's a lot of beta males out there. And they start crying for mommy the minute things start going south. And it's like, you know, at some point you got to learn to be responsible and stand on your own and be a man.
Did I tell you about the time I made a guy cry? Did I tell you about that? It wasn't even on purpose.
No, but go ahead.
So I'm trying to think of how to word it nicely. So I was hired by a gaming group to basically come in and help them get back on timeline, right? So they had fallen behind. They're like, can you come and like help us like, project manage and keep this on there? And I was like, yeah, because I like money, right? And so one of the things about gaming is there's this thing, it's called the vertical slice. And the vertical slice is basically like that game demo. So whenever you see a trailer for a game and then you see a gameplay after that, that's the vertical slice. That's what that's called. And so the vertical slice is written up by the lead, person, right? And I found out it probably takes like, I don't know, like maybe a couple of days to write this thing, right? So when I was going through and finding out where we were in the entire process, there was no vertical slice and the devs have been waiting on it for 3 months. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I went and I found the person who was responsible and I was like, hey, where are you on writing this vertical slice? And like, oh, I'm working on it right now. Don't worry about it. I was like, okay, right. And so what happened is I waited until that Friday and I was like, hey, where's the vertical slice at? It's like, oh, running into some difficulty. I'm going to pick it back up on Monday, keeping in mind that it's already 3 months late. It only takes a couple of days to do, right? So on Monday, I scheduled a meeting with this individual and we were sitting together and he was like, hey, what do you want to talk about? And I was like, well, and I slid him a laptop and I said, you're going to work on the vertical slice document. He was like, oh, well, I'm going to do it later. I was like, you're going to sit down and you're going to do it right now. And so he sat down and he worked on it. And we did that for about 3 days. And then when I was going back to my office, the CEO came over to me and he was like, he's afraid of you. And I was like, well, I guess he's not stupid. He just doesn't do his work, right? And then one day, because this was a company that had an employee directory, bro decided to dial drunk me and talk about how I was mean to him. And he was kind of like, if you were just a little nicer to me, it would make working a little bit easier. And I was like, did you really just fucking call me to tell me that? And so like by the end of the phone call, he was sobbing and just telling me that I had to be nice to him. And it was absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, I hung up.
Like, dude, I wasn't hired to be nice to you. I was hired to get results.
Yeah. And so anyway, I had to go talk to the CEO about it because I was like, look, I know you don't have an HR and I don't want you to get an HR, but calling me while you're drunk is going to lead to different kinds of problems. Mm-hmm. And so that's when he pulled me to the side. He was like, well, that guy's actually like, my friend. And, I was trying to help him out with this job. Do you think he's doing a good job? I was like, no, he's not. He's shit.
Since you asked.
Yeah. But yeah, I made him cry. I was just like,
well,
I made him cry by asking him to do his job.
Got a lot of nerve there, girl.
I know. Man, I can't even imagine somebody like that in my current job, right? Like, because we have like so much autonomy, right? But we also have a lot of agency. So it's like when stuff has to get done, it's like we all get together, we do it like really quick, like a fucking like school of piranhas, and then we go back to whatever it was that we were doing.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think people need to start learning to be responsible for themselves and, grow up. 'Cause-
I have a question for you and the chat. Chat, I have a question for you. So this was a debate I used to get into when I was a teacher, because when the kids would start to fight, until fist flew and blood started to splatter, I wouldn't get involved, because my observation was that parents and adults were so involved in trying to fix problems between kids that they couldn't do it themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, do you think that for the last 30, 40 years of doing that, have we basically made the soft era, do you think?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's because the boomers, and I'm not blaming boomers, but because the hardships they went through, they didn't want their kids to have hardships. So they started, interceding somewhat, and then it's just gotten worse and worse to the point where, people are afraid to let their kids do anything anymore. I mean, when my kids were little, there were parents who couldn't handle if something happened to their little darling, or if they got in a fight with another kid, or just, kids playing kids, and they get in the middle of it. And it's like, they'll be fine. They'll figure it out. Let them just figure it out. Let them learn how to interact, and I think social media in a way is part of it too, because people don't interact in person as much. And it's a lot easier to be aggressive and to say whatever you feel and not be kind when you're not going to get punched in the face for it. And I think, kids that text all the time, they don't make phone calls. They text, they message, so they don't have those skills that we used to learn on how to deal with people on a professional level either. Yeah, and participation trophies. Yeah, Lisa, you're right. Those are awful. You need to learn to win or lose, because sportsmanship's important.
Mm-hmm.
And
now they don't even keep score.
I know. That started when my kids were little. One of my son's friends wanted to join a t-ball team, and they didn't keep score. So we were like, nope, we're not going to bother. What's the point? You have to learn how to participate, because life is a competition in a lot of ways. And sometimes you don't get that job promotion. Sometimes you don't get, something doesn't go your way. You have to learn how to handle it respectfully and not scream for your mommy to come save you because you got arrested because, you had a DUI and you hit 3 cars and don't even remember it. Because you're so drunk.
They made me do the participation trophies when I was at this charter school. So for background, for anybody that's listening, it's the school that when the kids' needs exceed the ability of the public school, they get sent there. So these are like your low functioning kids, right? And at one point there was this lady, and she was in charge of what they called the Sunshine Committee. Now, I had never talked to this woman before in the entire year that I was there, right? But she came over and she was like, oh, it's the end of the year and we're just getting things wrapped. Like, she had like that first day kindergarten cheer. I don't know what meth she was snorting, but she had it, right? And so anyway, she was like, I just want to get your certifications so that way I can go ahead and, get things in order. And, if you guys remember or have seen the teachers at the end of the year, we look haggard, we're tired, like we're just kind of like want the school year to be over so we can like remember what the fuck a nap is, right? And so I was like, let me get back to you on that. And I forgot, right? And so then, she sent me a passive aggressive email saying it's like everybody but you has done it, and we're just waiting for you. And anytime you think that you can get around to that would be great. Which, I guess in some places that's an okay thing to send to a really tired teacher, but it wasn't to me. So I was very passive aggressive in my response because I sent her the certificates. And what's really funny is she didn't read them, right? She didn't look at what I sent. So when she was up there handing out awards and she was like sitting there and she was like, from Miss T's class, and she looked at best napper award goes to so-and-so. Of course, my kid was like, it's me, I am a napper. And he was like super excited to get the certificate. And she had to read every one of those titles. And I was just like, fuck you.
yeah, I mean, it just, the whole participation thing, like at least in my kids' elementary school, they had a principal who was not about that. And they had some sort of competition. I can't remember if it was a test or something, but the winners, when they went on their field trip to the mini racetrack park, their prize was they got to race the principal. And, you know, that spurred on so much competition because every one of those little fifth graders wanted to be the one who was going to beat the principal in bumper cars or racing cars or whatever it was.
Mhm.
And, you know, and there was winners, they got trophies and everything. And it was very much a competition. And now a lot of schools, they either don't have valedictorians anymore, or they, like in my daughter's school, they had 12 when she graduated high school. Because
What?
valedictorians,
But that
That's
isn't
not
that
how that
kind of like
works.
an oxymoron?
Like,
they each had a 30-second window to give a speech. Yeah, it does, because they didn't want to like narrow it down any more than that. So, because some of them would have been unhappy. So they had like 12. And she didn't even have a graduation because of COVID. So their award ceremony was online, where each kid filmed their speech from home, and they just announced what awards the kids got online. They couldn't actually accept them because they were home watching it on home live streaming. And then their graduation was a drive-by the school, where they had the cars had to line up by whatever subject the kids featured in. And then you drove up, the kid jumped out of the car, grabbed their diploma, shook the principal's hand in front of a camera, and then got back in the car and drove off. So, but there were 12 valedictorians. And yeah, because they didn't want to narrow it down anymore, because, you know, some of these kids would get upset and couldn't handle it. Like, when we were growing up, they would, you know, okay, if the grades are all the same, okay, who had more extracurricular activities? Or, you know, who was on which sports team? To you know, just kind of differentiate till they could find one, you know. But it's a different world. And now a lot of schools are not going to use ACTs or SATs or the LSAT or the MCAT anymore to get in law school or medical school, which to me is kind of frightening for medical school anyway.
I mean, they call it medical practice, right?
Well, that's true, and half the doctors out there graduated at the bottom half of their classes. Yeah, Lisa, I totally get that. Kids who don't know how to make a phone call. Mm-hmm. I guess you can identify as a doctor. You can identify as anything else anymore. You think about it. Oh. So, Therese, who's playing tonight?
The Falcons and the Eagles. So we get to see Kenny Pickett sitting on the bench. Poor Kenny.
Well, just doesn't feel like football season yet for me. We finally got under 90 today, but it still feels like summer.
Well, it technically is.
I know, but we're going to be back near 100 at the end of the week, so it just doesn't feel like fall sports yet.
It's baseball season.
So, that it is. It's almost Super Bowl, World Series. I mean, sorry. How are your Orioles doing?
They're in a little bit of a slump. Not putting together runs. So we'll see.
That's not good. That's not good.
They're still in there for the wild card, but I need them to start getting their bats going.
Well, they're getting ready to start building the fancy stadium here for the A's.
Oh, yeah.
You know, because we have to have every Oakland team now.
What
I
is
guess.
that now? Here, I'll take all your trash.
Yeah, I mean, really, can't they just go to another state? Why does it have to be here? We already got their football team who doesn't play very well, so
Yeah, I know.
you know, they need a good quarterback, among other things. But that didn't happen, so stadium's busy though. They fill it.
Huh.
Surprisingly. I haven't gone because the parking's so expensive on top of tickets.
It's outrageous.
Yeah,
I think
even the hockey.
Did I mention last week oh no, it was in Ann Arbor. Michigan played Texas, and we got an invitation to go through David's alumni thing to tailgate. And so I'm thinking I'm going to bring potato salad. I'm going to bring all this stuff. It was $280 to park.
Oh, you're kidding. That's outrageous.
Nope. I will stay home and watch it.
Like, what's happening with this parking lot? Like, are they washing your car when you leave it?
They better be making the potato salad for me, washing the car, waxing the car, and maybe giving me a mani.
And having the valet bring it up to you at the end of the game.
Yeah. Does anybody in the chat know why the parking's so expensive?
Because it's a money grab.
Yeah.
I thought there was like a reason for it.
Just to get money.
Greed. Okay.
Yeah.
Greed.
Pretty much, yeah. That's insane. Like ours is, I mean, but I live in a tourist town, so it's always going to be more to go to events here than it is in other places. The hockey is crazy expensive for the parking. Used to be there was free parking on the strip if you were a local, but nobody has it anymore because they've all started charging, which sucks.
Even in
we don't go down there very often.
It's high. Of course, you can't go down there. There was a shooting at a tailgate in Detroit for the Lions game. 2 people died. So that's fun.
I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there was a fight too after one of the other games. I don't know if it was Pittsburgh or one of the others. There was a fight in the parking lot too.
I did see that. I don't think it was Pittsburgh. It was oh crap. Now I can't think of it. Just add alcohol. I don't know how these people can afford to get drunk at these games. When you're paying, $12, $16 for a beer, how do you get drunk?
How can you afford to if you've spent $300 to park?
Right. And another $300 for a couple beers.
Yeah, it's crazy. Used to be going to a game was cheap. I
don't know how you bring your kids.
I don't think you do unless you're rich. I mean, we have our AA baseball team, and their tickets are still fairly affordable.
Yeah, I prefer minor league anyway.
Yeah. You're much closer to the action.
Oh, yeah. And you're seeing the kids when they're, not jaded, They're still trying real hard and,
Oh, Holly B says her daughter lives in walking distance of Michigan Stadium, so we park there. She works for the UM hospital and has season tickets that we can use.
Well, that's good.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I could get tickets to UNLV, but nobody really goes and watches them play, so that's not a thing. I think my son went to 3 games his whole college career, and because just nobody goes. Well, it's a commuter school. I mean,
right.
So a lot of people have, other life things to do on the weekends.
Yeah.
So what projects do you have coming up, Therese? Anything in mind you're going to work on?
I'm going to finish that sweater at some point. I finished. I don't know. I still want to card and spend for another sweater. I just can't seem to get my act together.
Maybe when it cools down, you'll feel more like doing it.
Yeah, because it's still in the 80s. And I just, carding wool and alpaca
Well, that's what I mean, because I know it's alpaca.
sticks
I'm sure
to your
that's not
hands and yeah, it gets everywhere.
sticks to everything.
Other than that, usually what happens is I see something and I have to make it right now.
Yeah, I hear you. I usually buy patterns that way. Oh, I need to make this, and then I don't never make it for a while.
Yep. Same. Or the problem I'll have is I'll get fired up about something. I'll find something. I got to make that. So then I go in the room and I try to find the yarn for it, and I look and look and look and look, and then it's like, screw it. I don't feel like doing it.
Or you go to look for it and you get distracted by other yarn that you got for something else.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, ooh, I wanted to make this too, so why don't I just go ahead and make this since I found the yarn?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's a struggle.
I know Neil has the cowl competition in the Blocked magazine if anybody wants to design a colorwork cowl.
Mm-hmm.
I have to do a Christmas pattern this year again, but that'll be later in a few weeks.
What you thinking about coming up with, Karen?
Probably a hat.
Oh,
sorry.
I don't yet. No, it's fine. No, I wanted both of you to answer. Hat would be good.
Well, I usually do one free pattern a year to thank people who buy my patterns. And I usually do either a hat or a cowl. And last year was a cowl. And so the year before was a cowl, and then before that was a hat. So I'll probably do another hat.
Okay.
Waiting to see what kind of Christmas yarn Chicken Lady comes up with. And then go from there. I have an idea in my head, but it depends on the yarn, because if the yarn's too busy, it won't work.
Mm.
So.
Yeah.
But.
Are you asking if I'm going to make a pattern?
No, I was asking what you had coming up after you do that shawl.
I was going to start working on the stuff for the folks in the warehouse. So last year, I made them all scarves. So this year I'm going to make them all beanies. So cool. I have a bunch of yarn that's just kind of sitting over there waiting for me to pull it out. So that's what I'll be doing. Actually, you know what? That's a lie. I'm not going to make beanies. I'm going to make skull caps. That's what they're called. They're called skull caps.
There you go. I saw some baking tins that were skull shaped, where you could bake cakes that look like skulls.
I'm all about that life. I used to make jellied coffee. It was there's few things that will get me to come out of my house and come visit people from yonder across town, right? So one is a burger place. If everybody says we're going to this place, I'm going to suddenly show up. It's like magic, right? Another one is saying that they have peanut butter whiskey at wherever they are. That will also make me suddenly show up, so long as the bottle suddenly becomes in my possession, right? And then the third thing is coffee jelly. Now, I don't know what it is about coffee jelly. There's something between the taste and the texture that I absolutely love. But if somebody tells me that they've got coffee jelly, whether it be boba or the actual jelly or what, I will be there. I love coffee jelly.
I do like peanut butter whiskey. My son
Yes.
and his roommate had a bottle, and it was good. He made me try it last time I was at his place.
Yeah, somebody told me it was too sweet and they didn't like it, and I said, that's fine, give it to me.
Right.
Yeah, it's good. Here, I'll be back in a second.
Okay.
Are you okay?
Yeah, my back went out this week, and I'm
I'm
sitting in
sorry.
an uncomfortable chair.
Oh, I know this pain. I threw my back out last year walking off a curb. It was quite
Oh.
spectacular.
I do that. Yeah.
Yeah, my daughter's has been out for 2 weeks. She's been pretty much laying in bed, pulled and twisted the muscles in her lower back. First time she's ever done that, and like, yeah, it's not fun. I have a herniated disc that acts up, so I sympathize with anybody who has back pain.
Oh no.
It is not a fun thing.
No.
Lefty Crochet says Joann's has a skull-shaped yarn bowl.
I might have to go there.
I know. Let's see. So, have you done any of your knitting in a while?
Not since last Tuesday, mostly because this shawl became a priority. Because I know you guys might think that this is big, right? And it's not. But I also have this much yarn to go through, so I'm gonna be here for a bit. So I wanted to get started on it now, while I had time. Because the last time I worked with this much yarn, I think it took me like a month and a half to finish it, with me working on it for about 2 hours a day.
Yeah.
I really like this person's wife, and I want them to like me back. So.
Well, I didn't know if we'd scared you off.
Scared me off knitting? No.
Yeah.
What is twisting? Everybody kept saying I was twisting, but I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
It means you, instead of going through the front leg of a loop, you go through the back leg of the loop, and then it twists how the stitch mounts on the needle. You want it so when your needle goes through, the first leg is front, and then the back leg is in the back. So if you're going to knit and you find like it's hard to get the needle in, a lot of times that means because you twisted the stitch.
Okay.
Because you want them to mount a certain way, and when you twist the stitch, it makes the next row harder to get the needle in.
That's why Neil asked how was purling.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you wanted to know about my pearls, and I was like, I don't clutch them to my chest.
Not those pearls.
Okay.
Oh, Amba O'Brien has her Halloween cow coming up with a bundle of skull shawl cow patterns. Ooh, I'll have to look. She has really good patterns. This is the Joann's one. Oh, it's white. Of course, you can't see it. Where's my camera? There it is. That's Caro. That's the Joann's yarn bowl. Caro.
I'm totally gonna buy it. Yeah.
It's ceramic. It's $19.99.
I'm gonna get it.
I read a thing that I don't know if it's throughout the whole company or if it's just in certain areas, that Joann's is adding to their yarn department.
Are they? That would be nice.
Yeah, I saw it on Reddit, on the Joann subreddit. The people that work there were saying that their stores were getting X amount of, I don't know their jargon for it, but they were getting X amount. And the other one said, oh, well, we're getting double that. Oh, we're only getting a certain amount. So we'll see.
Well, I hope it's better than when Walmart decided to increase their yarn and just with more crappy yarn.
Pioneer Woman yarn. Why does she have yarn?
Because I don't know. Because it's a lifestyle brand, so they have some of everything. Like, even if it's not something they do, they have products for it. It's really bizarre. I don't understand.
See, that's why I like with the Deborah Norville or the Vanna White, they actually use yarn.
Crochet. Yeah, they actually crocheted or knitted, yeah. So you're actually getting somebody who knows what they're talking about.
Right. Or
and
can have some input in the type of yarn, the feel of it, Yeah.
Well, even I had one of Vanna's crochet pattern books, and she said right in the book she had made all the patterns herself, so she had tested them. So
that's good.
Putting her name on it meant something. You know. But it's like all the celebrities, they all have all their craziness, like Gwyneth Paltrow and her goop. with, candles that smell like her hoo-ha and all sorts of weird stuff. You know how it is.
I actually don't, but that's okay.
Well, I actually don't either, but you know what I mean. There's always somebody out there doing something crazy.
Yeah, but I think that's right up there with. That's all.
Yeah, well, evidently her marketing team's making it work, so good for her. People are willing to buy stuff like that, which blow my mind.
That's even more bizarre, is that there are people that will actually buy it.
There was that trend of the gamer girl bathwater for a while, which.
Yeah, that's Oh, and L says, Caro, if you have the Joann app, they usually have coupons.
I don't.
Or if you go through the website though, if you haven't bought from them before and you sign up for their newsletter, I think you get 25% off, and then you can just unsign up for their newsletter afterwards.
I think I am signed up for the newsletter. I'm going to investigate and make sure. That's what I'm going to do. Thank you for letting me know. I don't have my phone to put the app on. I am a fool.
I miss when Hobby Lobby had their coupons because they were 40% off. Now it's 30% every other week.
Yeah, I haven't been in the store in a long time. I've only ordered because I don't want to have to drive there.
I had to explain to one of my friends why they don't sell Halloween stuff at Hobby Lobby. She's like, it's just fall stuff. Like, where's the Halloween? I was like, oh, they don't really do Halloween. She's like, but why? It's like, because it's not a Christian holiday, my friend.
Well, to be fair, for 99% of the people celebrating, it's not actually any kind of a holiday. It's just an excuse to dress up and get candy.
Yeah, and I mean, I get that, but it's, it's just, I think everybody wanting to celebrate it, they kind of forget, like, everything else involved with it.
Yeah, that's true.
Halloween. I did when my kids were little, but I do, like, fall stuff now. It lasts longer, too. You can go from September through November.
Yeah, Christine, I wouldn't want to imagine the manufacturing team trying to match the scent of Gwyneth Paltrow's, people be crazy. That's all I can say. But, I noticed things have seemed to have calmed down in the knitting world, except for the makers for Kamala crazies. Like, I don't understand why you would do that. Is it like just because you want to belong to something? Because, I mean, at the end of the day, if you make something with her face on it, are you ever going to wear it? No.
Oh, some of them.
Maybe. But the most people would just, I would think your time would be better spent on making something you might actually use. But
yeah.
Oh no, Anne. She's having yarn struggle, casting on and ripping out. I'm sorry. That's not fun. Excuse me. That's not fun at all.
It happens.
Sadly, I was doing that this morning. But it wasn't the yarn issue, it was a me issue. Because sometimes what you think in your head is going to look good, and then you actually try to make it, it doesn't work out that way, pattern-wise.
That's like me and that static yarn. I'm pretty sure that yarn needs to be used to make socks, but I'm determined to make a shawl with it. I won't be stopped. But I think we're on attempt 6 to use this yarn, and I think this might be the winner. That's in the other room, and I don't want to get it because then if I look at it too much, I might overanalyze it.
And my work in stripes.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So.
Anne's yarn has taken lessons from her internet connection. Ouch.
Oh.
Sad but true.
No.
Her internet connection was good with us the last time she was here.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have any trouble.
Full and sass. It was great.
It was. I'm using the mandala to make this baby blanket. The colors are kind of pretty.
Oh, those are
Blue
nice
and
and
green and
bright.
purple and orange. Yeah. Well, the person who I was originally making it for, this green is her favorite color in the world.
Oh.
But now that I'm not making it for her because she's not dating my child, I'll have to use it for something else. But it's all good. My son and his roommates are planning their Halloween party. They're going to have move the furniture and have a dance floor and a photo booth and everything. I'm like,
that sounds
that's
like a
pretty
lot.
impressive. It does, because they don't really have a very big condo. Like, it's pretty small, the house they're in. But I give them props for the adventuring, and it's Star Wars themed. So
Oh, so it's not at your house.
no, it's not at my house. It's
Okay.
my son and his roommates. No, I'm not that crazy.
Okay.
But
I was about to say you are very brave.
Oh no, he and his roommates are all dressing up as Star Wars characters, and probably half of their guests probably will too. I'm sure there's going to be some lightsaber duels and stuff, because his one roommate had never seen any of the Star Wars movies, and so they got her watching them, and now she's into them.
Nice.
So they're having fun with that. And they went to Disney this summer, and he and his other roommate got their Disney official fancy lightsabers. So one must have a costume to wear it so one can show it off. So, but
I
I
need to
think
get
Neil's,
my. Oh, sorry. What?
but I think Neil's getting down to the wire for the next issue of Block. So if anybody has anything they want to submit or send in, I'm sure he'd appreciate it.
Mm.
And
What's
if some
the theme
people were
of this
to,
one?
I don't have a clue. Do you, Therese?
What?
What's the theme of this next Blocked?
You're asking me? No idea. Fall
I have the
y'all.
hooks and needles.
Or is that last
Fall
time?
y'all. No, I think that's the next one.
Oh, I don't.
I don't remember. I don't remember what this one is, but he takes submissions to all of them. So if you have articles or reviews or patterns, I know he'd really appreciate it. So, and I know he's got a couple new cows that he's been working on too that are really cool. And yeah, so you know that magazine that was never gonna make it to issue number 2.
It sounds like the company that was never going to make it past year 1 to me.
Yep, because you know it's full of racists. So when they ask the person which part of it's racist, they really can't say anything because there's nothing racist about it. But you know.
Yeah, and when people tell me I'm racist, I'm always like, that would make working at my job very awkward.
Yeah, kind of.
Because like, as much as people like to talk about like diversity and hiring, like we just hired people that were good at what they did, right? And naturally, they all came from different backgrounds, and yeah, it's wild. It's absolutely crazy.
Like they used to do things where the most qualified person got the opportunity.
Yeah.
You know.
I can't remember. It was an HR story. So like when I switched my majors, at some point I had to take like an HR course and stuff like that, because that's usually where my degree ends up going, right? And there was a story about how 2 female firefighters were let go from their position because they had committed fraud, right?
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah, and the reason they committed fraud is because on their applications, and nobody had bothered to vet it or verify it, but on the applications they had put that they were Black men, right? And so these 2 female white firefighters got hired because of what they put on their resume, but again, never verified. And then like when they were doing an audit at one point and they realized what they did, they were kind of like, It was like 2 years later, and they're like, "We have to let you go. You lied." And they were like, "But we're good at our job, right?"
Yes, but that's no longer a criteria anymore. Like some of the airlines are hiring by diversity standards and not by qualification standards, and that's kind of scary for pilots. You know.
Well, what's scary for pilots is that we're running out of them, and in order to be a pilot, they don't have like an actual pilot school, right? You have to pay it all out of cash, or you have to put it on a credit card, right? And that's a lot of money to do that with, right? And so we're running out of pilots with nobody to come replace them, and I don't know how those planes are going to fly on their own because I'm definitely not ready for them to become drones right now.
No, not at all. My husband has a cousin who's airline pilot. He got his license when he was 17 and has worked his way up to commercial passenger planes. He was working for, I think, FedEx for a while doing flying packages and stuff before he got the qualifications to do passenger stuff. But, you know, it's not easy. And he probably wouldn't get hired now because he wouldn't be considered qualified because he doesn't have any diversity points. I saw that the astronauts that are stuck in the space station didn't want the Boeing Starliner to come get them. And can you blame them? I mean, with all the things that have been falling off planes and all the whatnot, can you blame them for not trusting them?
No.
Like, no, we'll stay for another 8 months. It's okay, really.
We'll wait for the next bus.
Yeah. It's all good. So. Okay. I've been watching the reviews that Critical Drinker and Neurotic have been doing on Rings of Power, and I have to thank them again for watching those shows so I don't have to.
Right.
Because they're so bad. And it's like... And I read an article today that was clearly written by somebody at Amazon, saying how great it is and how, you know, they're fleshing out the storylines and it's really great stuff. And I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah. I'm going to have to go soon because I can't sit in this chair much longer.
Yeah, we can end it early. That's fine.
Yeah, this is killing my back.
I don't want you to
be in pain. Don't be in
pain.
pain.
Comfort Pay cardigan. Oh, yeah. We did a Comfort Pay cardigan a couple years ago. I'll have to dig it out. That's actually not a bad knit. It's just Andrea Maury's arms tend to be tight, so if you like a looser arm. If you like a looser arm, you need to fix that or pay attention. But so yeah, no. Yours is pink, but mine is blue. Oh yeah. So, any ideas for 12 mini skeins and a fade with one coordinating full skein and fingering weight that isn't socks? So, I don't know.
Ugly cat shawl.
Yeah, an ugly cat shawl would work. I think 12 mini skeins is enough for the small size, and one fingering should be enough. I think it is. I'd have to double check Neil's numbers, but I'm pretty sure it should be enough.
Yeah, please check Neil's numbers.
Well, no, not the pattern numbers, but just how much yarn he used. Because
I got you.
He and Tara both did the same size, but they came up with different amounts of yarn. So I'm not sure which he put in the pattern, but it's in the last Blocked magazine, I think, or the couple ones before it. So
I didn't know. I know that the baby socks are in issue 3.
Yes.
I do know that.
The Annalena Knitter
Yes.
baby socks, which are very cute.
Yes.
And they're fun. They're good to make with scraps for Let Them Live, too.
Yep.
So,
During this PIK month for Let Them Live. For the babies.
yep. All right. Anything else this week? Oh, yeah, the Flower Street wrap, the one Anne made. That one was really pretty. I'm going to make that, but I'm going to do it with my Chicken Lady Patriot collection at some point. It's on the list.
It's on the list.
It's on the list. I have the yards for it. I'll get to it eventually.
My list looks like the CARE Act, the whatever, Obamacare Act.
Well, my problem is I have a list, and then that changes because I see other things I want to make.
Mm-hmm.
And then I forget about things that I wanted to make before, and then I remember later and like, oh yeah, I wanted to make this. Like I want to make the pressed flowers cardigan, and I have the yarn for it, but I'm not mentally in the mood to start it with the mosaic knitting because you have to pay attention.
Oh yeah.
So maybe I'll do that this winter. But yeah, and then we might be doing something beginning of the year.
We might be.
We might be. We'll have to figure out details. It's a ways away.
Little ways. It'll be here fast.
Well, no, you should be fine in the ugly cat shawl.
Mm-hmm.
Neil knits tight too, so you'll probably be fine if you follow his numbers.
Yeah.
I started mine again, but I'm only in the first section, so I don't know how much yarn it's going to use total. So you could make it big, Elle. You could do the super size like Annie and someone else in the chat group did the big, super big one in mohair.
The revival tent size, yeah.
Yeah, and Morgan did it in fingering weight, and hers is like she could wrap up into it like 3 or 4 times, like a burrito or a king size bed quilt. So, all right, I guess we're good. Anything else, Therese?
No, my dogs are about to act up. And the husband just came home.
All right.
Hell's about to break
thanks,
loose.
everybody. Yeah. Thanks, everybody, for coming.
Guys, thank you,
Thanks, Carol, for coming.
Joining
Thanks for
us.
having me.
We appreciate it. Sparkle, Sparkle. She's going to be one of the hosts for the half blanket handicap, so that's exciting. Her and Epic Mike.
It'll be fun. Epic Meek and I will have a great time.
If nothing else, you and Mike will have a great time. If nothing else, the rest of us, we'll see what happens. It should be fun though.
It should.
So, I don't think there's knitting wars this week, but
I can't remember.
I'm sure they'll have an episode. They'll have an episode this weekend, and all the others. I'm sure there'll be a Cabot's Cove knit sometime, and hopefully Denise and Amy will film again and get a new Two Sisters and some yarn and
a lot of people
support the babies. Support the babies. Make baby stuff. It's great for all those leftover yarns because you don't need a lot for babies, and they work up really quick.
Yep.
So, but thanks for joining us. We really appreciate the chat. If you like us and subscribe. We appreciate the numbers. It helps. And thanks for everyone who leaves comments because we get a kick out of those too. So,
most of them.
We'll see you next week. Most of them, yeah. Well, there's always one or two that
always
difference of opinion. That's okay because you know what? People are allowed to have differing opinions.
That's right.
We don't have to like them, but it's all good. They can be wrong, right?
Yeah, it's not illegal to be wrong.
That's right. All right. Talk to you guys later. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.